and surely have picked up 3 question points.
Welcome to Orient Live. The O's are back in E10 this afternoon and we've faced bottom of the league Port Vale, and the O's are definitely hoping to get back to winning ways this afternoon here in Leyton. And it is Community Day at Leyton Orient as well, which is why you'll see we've of course got Glenn with us as always, but we've got Neil Taylor from the Chief Executive of the Trust joining. Neil, pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
First of all, can you just tell us a little bit about what the Community Day is?
Yes, so we've linked up with the EFL. So every year the EFL do a community weekend where they encourage all 72 clubs and the club charities to get involved, promote what they're doing, raise awareness through the fan base. So this year it's called Scan to Smile. And in the programme today and around the club, you can go on a QR code and it takes you to videos, short videos of some of the stories that are generated from those charities. So for us, it was a young man who comes to some of our community sessions, who obviously makes friends and helps with self-esteem and confidence. So it's like just little nuggets of stories like that. But for us today, we're doing our first community match day, where we're actually using that, piggybacking on that really, to raise awareness of our work, and our work particularly in Tower Hamlets, Hackney, Waltham Forest and Redbridge as a charity, and then ask for donations, both in cash, but in people's time, and as we'll probably talk about, like the artefacts that we're looking for to improve the East Stand Museum.
We'll come on to that shortly, but I mean maybe just beyond just today.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us just what exactly it is the Trust do on a day-to-day and why it's so important?
Of course, brilliant. So, as Glenn will probably remember, we started as a Football in the Community scheme in 1989. We became a registered charity in 1998, and that gave us the ability to go and fundraise, bring in grants, contracts, stuff like that, and really grow our work. But at the core of it as a charity is to help improve life chances. So we're really working with probably the most at risk, most disadvantaged young people and older people in our community, very much focused on the sort of footprint of the stadium, 2-3 mile radius of the stadium, working in primary schools, working with secondary schools, doing mentoring support, not just delivering sport and football, but actually going underneath that, employability projects for those who are not in anything, any education, training, employability, employment, and with older people. So we do community living rooms where we again bring them together. They can do some chair exercise and sort of work and again tackle loneliness and all that kind of stuff. So we employ about 50 staff. We operate pretty much every day of the year. We run during the holiday programs, holiday activity food program, which is a Marcus Rashford initiative from a few years ago, which is still being funded to help, in particular, children and young people on free school meals, so they have somewhere to go and somewhere to eat for the summer and holidays. So yeah, loads of stuff going on.
Fantastic work, and a lot for the fans to be proud of for the work we do.
I think so. I hope so, yes.
And you've taken myself and Glenn and Andrew, who's going to be back with us shortly, but you've taken us to Glenn's old stomping ground. You've shown us the bath, the sauna, the old changing rooms. It's a bit of a step back in time. Tell us a bit about what's going on there.
So as a charity, obviously we are a link between the club and the local community, and one of our sort of key roles is telling the story of the club, the history of the club. And over the last 20 years, we've been focusing on the number of projects. One was, first of all, with Steve Jenkins and the Supporters Club around the role of the club in the First World War, and we did an exhibition on the back of that. And then to celebrate 80 years of Orient in Leyton in 2017, we did a heritage lottery exhibition where we went into the archives, and that really sparked our interest. And obviously, as we started in '89, we used to use this stand a lot for all of our ground tours and all of our school children. Obviously, one of the big things we've done in the last 10 years is with the council and have the Laurie Cunningham statue. So that's been a real focal point of our sort of history telling, storytelling of the club. When we moved back in here to have office space and to have a sort of meeting space, we wanted to bring this East Stand to life. It had been abandoned in 2007 when the club moved to the West Stand, and it was really exciting for us. It was basically a blank canvas. So we found some stuff in storage, we put pictures up, and then in the summer we worked on Glenn's old place of the changing room, took it back to the 1950s before the 70s veneer and the sauna, and sort of like really showing what it's like. We've been lucky to get some pictures and some donations of shirts, and we've started building up, but we really want to take it further. We want to put glass cabinets in there, putting some artifacts that we've acquired and been donated, and really in time we want to bring old players back there to talk about their memories of basically their workplace, what it was like on match days, what it was like there when they were brought here for training, their memories of what that changing room was for good times and bad times.
Definitely, and just walking down there just now with you, like we walked to the away changing room and had a quick look in there, and that as an apprentice or like academy player they call them now, that was our workplace. We reported there every single day, got in there, packed the kit away, packed the boots away, then got in our cars and went to the training ground. So this was our base, this East Stand. So walking back down there now, it's great what's happening down there. It looks really good.
And we're very lucky that unlike other stadiums, when they stop using a space, they just demolish it and that's it, and they rebuild. We're very lucky that everything just went over there, over to the West Stand, and here was just left. It was just left like some artifact, really. And so the bathroom is probably our favourite because it shows the original bath, the players, and when we bring school children, they can't believe that adults would have baths all together.
I've got great stories to tell you afterwards about that bath that you can incorporate on the tour. It's clean, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm good.
A bath would be clean, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I'm sure Glenn's probably got an old pair of boots that are pretty vintage at this point that could go in there.
Yeah, any shirts, we really want to capture stuff from 1956 to 2006 is the era for that changing room.
So before fans have any
memorabilia, so for example, there was a chairman from the 60s called Arthur Page, who was here 60s into the 70s, but he's actually on the board from the 40s. His grandson got in touch and has donated a fantastic artifact, which is, you're probably too young to remember, that on the bumpers of cars, the AA and the RSC used to give like metal chrome things you could screw in, and we've got a Leyton Orient Football Club one from the 1950s.
So if anyone does have stuff, who
anything,
contact?
any quirky stuff, any cups, scarves, match day programs. We've again the donation from that. We've picked up a Peter Allen testimonial, John Jackson, who played for the club in the 70s. Anything we've got a timeout from 1976, which looks behind the scenes of Orient, as well as telling us about Toots and Maytals and all that kind of all those kind of crazy bands that were playing in the emergence of punk. So it's some really good archive. Amazing.
And if fans watching from abroad or at home today, how can they donate today if they wish to? Where should they go?
Yes, so on our website, leytonorienttrust.org.uk, you can. There's a donate page on there. We've got QR codes in the matchday programme, and it will be on the websites later.
Amazing stuff, and I'm looking forward to hearing this bath story, Glenn.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
Can we hear it now?
We can. There's a lot of practical jokes that go on with youth team players and first team players, and one of the new income of apprentices or academy players, we had a goalkeeper called Luke Weaver. I think he played for England under 16, 17s. And at the time, his job was, after a match day, was to clean the bath. So on his first, after a night game it was, we told him, look, when the players have left, do not pull the plug on the bath. You have to get a paper cup or a cup and scoop the water out, because if you pull the plug, the suction will pull all the tiles off the wall. So we left him for an hour emptying a big, huge bath, cup at a time. And in the end, we had to tell him because I think the groundsman wanted to lock the ground out.
That's not very nice. Anyway, sounds good. Well, Neil, thank you so much.
That's an absolute pleasure
for joining us, and
thank you.
Fantastic work that the Trust do.
Fantastic.
Right, then we're going to turn our attention then to the big match this afternoon, but first, let's hear from the gaffer, Richie Wellens.
It was a real topsy-turvy game up at Port Vale at the beginning of September. They're not where they want to be in the league at the moment, under new management as well. How tough a test will they give us?
George, it's as tough as we want to make it. If we're at it, and if the players want it as much as I do, my biggest strength is that I care too much, but it's also my biggest weakness at times. So if we play a certain level of intensity and we run hard and we fight, then our supporters will give them everything, okay? So we can make it. Reading for me was a really comfortable game. They had one shot on target, okay? Really comfortable game. But we can make it as difficult where You know, we got run over at Doncaster, and we need to make sure that that's not the case again. So any League One game, we can make it as easy or as hard as possible. For me, a lot of it is down to us.
And just lastly then, there was, following Tuesday's game, there was obviously a lot of frustration on the pitch, in our changing room, I'm sure, in the stands, online. How important is it that everyone, you know, channels that together?
Of course, listen, the social media stuff is, I hear some of it because we have a sports psychologist. I just don't get why people go online. Why you sit at home on a phone, on a computer and just criticise people? Come on. I just don't for the life of me get it. I'm a football supporter. It's like I made a comment the other day that we need players in to give me a lift. When I was a supporter, I'm a supporter now. And when Manchester United sign a player, can't wait to see him play. When they sign Kuno, I can't wait to see him play, and I'm a supporter. When I was a player, especially at big clubs, and I see a good player coming, I go, can't wait to play with him. Or what? He's going to take my place. He ain't going to take my place. My game goes up.
Right, then let's take a look and see the lineup that Richie Wellens has opted for to try and get back to winning ways here in E10 today. Starting in goal, it's the new signing for the O's. It's Dan Bachman. It's a back four today with Tom James and Michael Craig in the fullback positions, with Dan Happy and Caelan Casey at centre-back. Sean Clare is alongside Tyreek Bakinson. Theo Archibald moves into a high position up the pitch on the left wing, with Josh Karoma coming back into the starting 11 on the opposite side. Ollie O'Neill is going to be playing in that 10 role just behind Don Ballard, who leads the line. And on the bench is Killian Carhill, Jack Simpson, AJ Matthews, Dimitri Mitchell, Jack Morehouse, Azim Abdullahi and Charlie Wellens. We'll make no bones about it. Tuesday was bad. Tuesday was a really bad result. It's so important that today is better.
Oh, 100%, and he's changed it. Richie Wellens said in all his interviews, his preferred defensive shape is a back four. He's gone back to that today, which with the two full backs, it looks solid to me. But you can change it all you like, but you can't sort of contemplate for individual errors, and that's what's been costing us goals over the last few weeks, certainly, well, most of the season actually. But it looks solid. I think the players got a very stern talking to at the game online. Some of the stuff that supporters have been saying online has been, in my view, horrific. I think Richie Wellens was right what he said there. I think they will start. I watched a bit of the warm-up just now, and they look, some of them, the players you want to look relaxed, they look relaxed, like Don Ballard, smile on his face, everything, he looks good. Other players who have come back into the side and defenders look really focused, and they look like I think this first 15-20 minutes today, you're going to see energy from the team like we've not seen all season. There is going to be something there, because if they're not, then we have got a bit of a problem, because after what's happened, we need to start really aggressive and really fast.
Absolutely. And looking at today's team then, back four, as Richie and Glenn has reminded us, Richie said that's what he wants to play, and it's a bit more of a positive. It's not a back three, it's not a back five.
Yeah.
It's a slightly more positive.
Yeah, I mean, I like it as well. The 4-2-3-1 is a Richie Wellens staple, and I felt that in the last few weeks. I mean, I guess and I appreciate that part of this is a necessity. Some of it has been by design, but some of the disjointedness I think we've had in the last few weeks has been this change in formations. We went from a 4-2-3-1 to a 3-4-2-1 to a 3-4-1-2, and just the nature of the way that you change up the teams, sometimes this doesn't quite pay off, and it didn't pay off in the last few weeks. So I'm pleased to see a back to a 4-2-3-1. I think we're a better side when we play that formation. It's my personal preference is that formation at pretty much every level of football anyway. But it looks solid as well. I love that front four: Theo, Ollie, Josh behind Don Ballard. Obviously, we know have got goals in them. It's interesting to see Josh playing. He had probably his best performance of the season against Port Vale away, where he got those 3 assists in that 3-2 win. I do wonder if that's kind of an element of psychological thing. Like, as a player, you're always going to know you approach games where your opponent, if you've had a good game against them the previous time, you think, I've got their number once already this season, so I can do this again. So hopefully he can contribute this afternoon, and across the pitch looks solid, and from what we've seen and heard from the new keeper, also looks like a very, very positive signing.
Let's take a look at some of the clips from Backman. Richie's been saying we wanted a keeper. We've got a keeper, and he's an experienced one.
He is an experienced one. He's got great pedigree. As you see, he's a big guy. From what I'm hearing yesterday in training, he's a very good talker. He'll let them defenders know what they should be doing if they need to squeeze up quicker, etc., etc. But some of the saves, some of the crosses, he is very good. My only concern is he's not played a first team game for 7, 8, 9 months, whenever it was, because he's been on loan and he hasn't started a game. But I think with his experience and how great our defence are going to be today, he won't get called into action too much.
Hopefully not. I mean, goalkeeper aside, Andrew, we've conceded too many goals this season. Yes, this would be a boost, but we want to get back to being solid defensively.
Yeah,
Are we being better defensively at home?
Yeah, and look, the home form is what's going to carry us through this season. I mean, I don't want to dwell too much on Tuesday, but it was an incredibly deflating experience, just watching it as a fan. But I'm sure the players would have hurt as well after the game. And at home, we have just been a lot better this season. I think we're, in terms of form in League One, I think we're the 12th best, which is obviously higher than our league position, because our away form has been slightly ropey. And so it's kind of a good. This is almost like the perfect game. I know, like, you don't want to tempt fate too much, but having lost to a team that was in the relegation zone 3-0 on Tuesday, the game you want to have, the following one after that, is a home game against a Port Vale team who, their fans, the way that Port Vale see this season is already perhaps it's a write-off and they're going down. And I was hearing a couple of fans on the way here this afternoon saying that the most positive thing they could say is if they win their 2 games in hand, they're 6 points off the relegation. And I mean, like, this is the game that we absolutely have to win. And Port Vale come in here with also in appalling form and having had just a real stinker of a season.
But it's also good for them. They'll probably be thinking we've got Leyton Orient at the right time after what's happened. So it could be a really open game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not too open at the back for us. We've had some good games against Port Vale in recent years. Obviously, the one right at the start of the season where we won 3-2. We've had a 3-3 draw against them here in recent seasons too. But they also haven't won here since 1994. So there are positive signs going into the game at least.
Absolutely. And looking at that reverse fixture, then, Glenn, Josh Crone was electric that day. He's back in the side today.
Yeah, he was superb that day. It was a good game of football that day. That was when Charlie Wellens come off the bench and scored the winner, didn't he? Right at the end, he was superb. And the first 4 or 5 games of the season, when Josh was playing as the wide right forward, he started the season really well with his assists and goals, and then obviously the form dropped off and he found himself out of side. But like Andrew was saying, I think it's a real good thing for him to come in with that confidence, knowing if he's playing against the same fullback that he played against up at their place today, he knows he's got the better of him. The fullback will be shaking in his boots thinking, he destroyed me when we played him last time. So I think it's really good for Josh, and I think a bit of personal pride will come in now because he's been out of the side, back at home, back on a decent pitch, and I think he's going to want to try and prove a point and try and keep that first team start jersey.
And on the opposite side of attack, Theo's been exceptional at fullback, wingback. He's up the pitch now. This is what we want to see.
Yeah, you do want to see it. I mean, his work rate is exceptional since his return. It's been absolutely brilliant. Can't really fault anything about his game, but this is the position that I think he probably wants to play. It's the position that we want him to be playing as well. So yeah, it's lovely to see him up there. And I mean, the goal he got when he returned after a couple of games was just a really, really nice interaction between Ollie O'Neill, Don Ballard, and then him finishing off the goal eventually. And it was, so you can tell there's probably a bit like a good understanding between that attacking unit, and that hasn't been the cause for concern at any stage this season.
And it's good Sean Clare coming back in the side as well. He adds something into that midfield, doesn't he?
Yeah, obviously there's been a lot of talk about leaders on the pitch and experience, which we've been lacking. With him coming back in there, with Bakinson in there, holding just sort of in front of the back four, it's really important. He's got that experience. He does know when to slow the game down, or when to fasten it up, or when to hook a ball on into an area and push the team up the pitch. So his experience will be key. And I really like him. I don't think he's had the best of seasons like he did last year, but I prefer him in there. We've seen him at right back, but when he's playing in that defensive midfield position, I like him. And he can get forward, and then we know he can score a goal as well. So it gives you that added dimension.
I mean, he was great. He was great on here on Tuesday, but I much prefer him seeing him on the pitch.
Me too.
It's not to denigrate whatever he said on Orient Live on Tuesday.
Yes, certainly. Right, we're going to take a look at the visiting side, Port Vale, very shortly after this break.
You have a choice. You can waste 20, maybe 30% of your media budget, spend millions reaching bots, the wrong people, or no one at all. Or just use 0 to 1. It knows who's ready to buy. It's over 85% accurate. Zero wasted spend. The future of marketing isn't guessing. It's knowing.
Is lunch at work awesome? If so, tune out now. If not, keep listening. Picture this: chef-made meals from local restaurants brought right into your workplace. No sad sandwiches, no tired menus. By tapping into the local restaurant scene, Fuda powers workplace dining for companies across the U.S., giving teams flavor, convenience, and authenticity. Half of Glassdoor's best places to work have partnered with Fuda. Is your team ready to upgrade its workplace food scene? Find out how at Fuda.com. That's FOODA.com.
I think we're getting a little bit hungry looking at that.
Oh, no, yeah, slim chickens will not make Glenn slim.
Right, let's turn our attention back to the football though and take a look and see how Port Vale, the visitors, are shaping up this afternoon. Starting in goal for Vale is 46 Joe Gauci. So back four for them as well, with Liam Gordon and Ryan Crowsdale in the fullback positions. Connor Hall partners Cameron Humphreys with Cole John and Funso Ojo in the middle. The captain Ben Garrity, Dejani Brown and Ben Wayne are all behind the striker Ethan Archer. And on the bench is Ben Amos, Ben Hennigan, Jordan Lawrence Gabriel, Jaheim Headley, George Hall, Reece Walters and Jaden Stockley. We've touched on them already, but this is on paper the game you want.
Absolutely, on paper the game you want, and also people watching from home as well won't have seen the news that Vale have lost arguably their best player in Devante Cole. They announced that only an hour ago as well, which is kind of, as a fan, is one of the things that you hate to see the most, of seeing one of your best players leave a club, and but it also be announced an hour before a match day kickoff too. So they are without him too. I mean, they've just been poor this season. Port Vale, I don't think anyone can argue with that. And this is such a good opportunity for us. We just can't let them have a foothold in the game at all, at any point.
Let's take a look at some of the goals they've conceded, Glenn, because we know how good we are at scoring goals. We know some of the goal scorers we've got in our team. We said it on Tuesday and it didn't go to plan, but we've got to take the game to them.
Oh, 100%, yeah. We look at some of these goals and they just, as a defender there, that goal, you're retreating. There's a point where you say, I'm not going to go anymore, I need to go to the ball, but they don't. They just retreat all the time, concede goals. They are a bit of a mess at the back. It's just like, I don't want to analyse them too much because it's really frustrating just as a football fan watching professional footballers do what they're doing there. But it's good for us. It's good for us. Like Andrew said, Cole was their sort of best player has moved on to Luton today. He caused us problems when we played against them up there. He scored against us. Big, strong, physical guy. But we just need to at home today, with that front four that we've got far too much for their poor defending. If we can get the ball down and play and be fast and aggressive, we will get chances today.
There's been a lot of talk about, needing to stick together and get back up to it. And how tricky do you think today is, though? Because we're talking about Port Vale being bottom of the table. You know, we've got to focus on our own game, and I think any game can be tough, especially maybe when you've coming off a result like on Tuesday night. I mean, I think there's an element also of personal pride as well, where you do go through rough periods as a club, and it sometimes takes like a really kind of sobering defeat like Tuesday nights to just pull yourself together. And I'm sure, you know, I think sometimes it's frustrating when fans accuse players of not trying or not wanting it enough, and you speak to players and they go, no, the hardest thing in this sport is losing, because it feels like you're not doing the job that you're being paid to do. And so I do have a lot of sympathy for when players are kind of accused of not trying or not wanting it. And Tuesday was just poor across the board.
I was going to say, I spoke to Don Ballard on Wednesday, and he said they just had meetings. They had a separate players meeting where they thrashed a few things out, and then obviously they rewatched the game with the coaching staff. So it'd be interesting we will never know what came out of that players meeting, but they obviously know they're in a bit of a predicament at the moment, and they're not performing to what they should be, and they've tried to address it. So hopefully they can put that right today.
We know how good we can be at home, Andrew. When the stadium gets going, when the players get going, hopefully we're in for a good day here.
It also, Ollie, to be honest, it feels like one of the final days of winter. The sun's out in E10, the pitch is looking very, very good. It looks a little bit soft. We walked around it a bit earlier today, so it does look a little bit soft, so it might turn up a touch. But Port Vale bought, I think, over 600 fans, so full credit to them. But hopefully the stadium will be rocking, and we'll come away with 3 points. It
looks as though Killian Cahill starts for the O's, so I'm assuming Backman's been injured in the warm-up, but hey, what better way for Killian to bounce back from a rough night on Tuesday and know what he's about?
He'll want to put a few wrongs right from the other night, and to get thrown in at the last minute like he's done today, he's got no time to think about the game and to sort of go back on what he did on Tuesday night. So it could be the perfect thing for us, and certainly for him.
Absolutely. Are you confident, Andrew?
Yeah. I mean, we've got to be today. We've got to be.
Prediction: Ballard will get at least 2 goals today.
Well, he said, didn't he, that when he scores 2, he
always gets 3.
So have we seen another Ballard hat-trick again?
Well, possibly, but I do think he's going to get 2 today.
We haven't even spoke about him. You've seen him there. He's the one, isn't he? We want to hopefully see some more goals from him.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's the key man for us in an attacking sense. And I'll go with Glenn. At least 2 goals from him today.
Right then, Kickoff is very nearly upon us. So let's hand over to our match commentary team with Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Good afternoon and welcome to Brisbane Road. It's going to be a fascinating match between two sides that have made plenty of changes. 6 for the O's, 5 for Port Vale, who earlier today sold their leading striker, Devante Cole, to Luton Town. And of course, after Tuesday night, Richie Wellens said he wanted